NCAA College Rapid Fire, 5 games, 5-ish minutes. But first, hey everyone, don't forget to check out our sponsor this month, BetMGM. Head over to BetMGM. Get a risk-free bet up to $1,000, your first risk-free bet by using my promo code MearsPNP. Let's remind everybody after this to go to picksandparlays.net, use promo code NBA. Saves you up to 25% off the entire site. We've got NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, everything going on right now. So take advantage of those discounts because there's some good stuff happening. Some of that good stuff happening, this NCAA Rapid Fire we're about to get into. Nick, hit me with it. What do we got first? We've got Georgia Tech at Florida State. Florida State minus 23 is the line in that one. The total at 47.5. What's your pick?
Yeah, for me, this game, when I first saw this one, I have this game around a 15-point spread rather than a 23-point spread. So I think this is just too many points here. The Yellow Jackets have been a team this year where previous to being a favorite the previous week, last week against Virginia, they covered as dogs and they won 2 of the 3 games that they were dogs here. And when they covered, they were 21.5 and 21-point dogs back-to-back weeks, and then they went straight up as 3.5-point dogs against Duke. So I think there's just too many points here for Florida State to be laying. They're coming in off of that big game against Clemson 2 weeks ago. And then they get NC State on deck. Or no, that was last week. Then they have Miami on deck. That's what it was. I clicked on previous results. There we go. Yeah, then they head on the road for Miami and Syracuse afterwards. So I think this is just too many points to be laying with the Seminoles here. I'm going to take Georgia Tech plus the points.
I agree. That's a lot. That's a lot of points. So next week, though, we have TCU, I believe, at West Virginia. TCU favorite at -7, total at 68.5. Do you like the Horned Frogs or do you like the Mountaineers?
Yeah, I'm going with the Froggies here, laying the 7. I have this game personally. My line is 10.5 for this game, so I see about 3.5 points of value here with the Horned Frogs. They're 7-0 this year, 5-1-1 against the spread. They've been a covering machine. The only time they didn't cover was against Oklahoma State. They were 4 to 5 point favorites. They win in overtime by 3 in that game. And West Virginia, and you can probably make a judgment saying that they were embarrassed about last week's games against Texas Tech. They lose 48-10. But this TCU team is legit, in my opinion. And this is a team that could threaten to win the Big 12 and potentially steal a playoff spot. So I'm going to have TCU continuing to win on here, laying the 7.
All right, Horned Frogs take down the Mountaineers. UConn is the home team. Boston College visits and is favored at -8. The total at 44.5. I think this line did move a little bit, so tell me what you like and why.
Yes, this line has moved a little bit. I'm seeing 7.5s on some books, 8s on some books. I personally got on this game at a 9. I like the Huskies in this game. I have this one more around a 5.5 rather than a 9/8 around that area that the books have it right now. And this is a game that I think potentially the Huskies win outright. This Boston College team has not impressed me so far this year. They're 2-5. They're coming in getting blown out back-to-back games against Wake Forest and Clemson, 2 good opponents here. Now they travel on the road. They're 2-5. They're 1-6 ATS. And when we look at UConn, they're not the greatest team. They're 3-5 this year, but they've covered in 6 of 8 games. So this is a team that's covering. So I like the points in this game, and I won't talk you off of sprinkling the money line here with the Huskies.
All right, sprinkle alert. But for the most part, we're going Huskies to cover that at +8. Let's see what our next matchup is. We've got Cincinnati at UCF, obviously only favored by 1, most likely just because they're at home. The total at 56. Who are you taking in this one?
Yeah, during the rapid fire, I had to throw a little game that's in my conference here, the American Conference, and a team that I saw last week play UCF. Yep. They came into East Carolina and got their doors beaten off by the Pirates 34-13. It wasn't particularly close. Their running game was slowed down. Yeah, that powerhouse offense was shut down by ECU last week. An offense that put up 70 points the previous week versus Temple and 41 the previous week versus SMU. And they're taking on – this is a really big game for them because this can dictate which one of these teams potentially gets a spot in the AAC championship game. Cincinnati still undefeated in conference play. They had a close call against SMU last week where they lost the fourth quarter 13-0 and failed to cover the 3. Thanks a lot, Bearcats, for nothing there. I had Cincy minus the 3, and they win by 2. So for me in this one, I'm siding with the home team in this game. I had this game more at around a 3. I got this at a pick 'em around minus 110. So I'm on the UCF Knights here to bounce back in this game and beat Cincinnati.
Interesting, especially after you watch them, like you said, get their doors beaten off. All right, now we've got my hometown in Pittsburgh at North Carolina, though. UNC favorite at minus 3, total at 64.5. Can the Panthers cover? Yes or no?
I'm going to go with the no option on this one here. I have this game more at a 6, 5.5, 6 rather than a 3 for this game. I'm going to hope this line drops a little bit. Maybe I can get a little bit of Tar Heels around that minus 140 range instead of having to lay 3. This Tar Heels, the only thing that scares me about this game for them is their defense is 114th in the nation, giving up 32.5. Luckily, their offense is 9th in the nation, putting up 41.5 points. So maybe a Tar Heel team total over the decent look in this game as well. But I'm looking at the Tar Heels to take care of business here. This is a team that, yeah, we're scared to lay points with their defense here. But when we look at them, they're 6-1 on the season. Like, their only loss was to Notre Dame earlier in the season, and they've taken care of business in most of their games. So I'm going to go ahead, look to take North Carolina here minus a 3. I'm going to hope it drops a little bit more throughout the week and try to shoot for that 135, 140 mark on the money line with the UNC. But I'm going to go with the UNC here.
Yeah, we talked about this game in depth, you and I, a little bit earlier today, and we kept saying, going back and forth, saying Pitt needs to just like run the ball. They've got Izzy Abanikanda, and he's been their clutch weapon so far this season. But man, if UNC can score some points, Pitt's going to struggle because they're going to have to be able to score in big situations every single game, every single play, basically down the field when they can. So I could see this one going in UNC's favor as well. And as well as taking a look at that team total. So thank you so much for your rapid fire picks, 5 picks in 5-ish minutes. Like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We are live, Picks and Parlays Power Hour, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern.